Hello everyone, and welcome once more to Redwolves and Ramparts. I am Maurice Barnett, your host and DM, and joining me once more at the table is John, Noah, JC, and Trey. So, let's get into the session, shall we? Last time, our intrepid explorers went out into the woods to find the suspicious Dr. Coverfront, and after talking with him, they learned of a previous patient that was there only moments before. After tracking them through the woods and eventually finding bloody footprints, they went out into the sandy beaches to find Chloe, a drow bard / druid who had managed to escape from Dr. Coverfront with 2 amputated legs that were kind of haphazardly sewn back on. After healing her and taking her back to town, they now stand outside of the Academy for Little Gremlins, where they hope to find Sister Lavender. So, that's where we'll be picking up this session. You all stand outside of the Academy for Little Gremlins. I cannot state that name enough. I'm so proud of it. And just standing in front of it, it's a sort of ramshackled little house that has a yard with a fence in the front that looks like it could possibly keep children from escaping. There are holes and such every once in a while inside of it that look like that they've had planks kind of boarded up on them from previous escape attempts. And inside of the middle of the yard is some small ramshackled children's play equipment. Like there's a seesaw that's been kind of like thrown together and it looks like it would give splinters. There's what looks to be like a big rock that was sort of moved into place so they can climb on it. And there's this sort of sand pit that's been shoveled out and kind of put there. And you see 1 or 2 kids are actually still outside while the door is left ajar, that they just are sort of running around in this sort of fenced in area and just yelling and screaming. As you walk up to the door, you can hear from the inside just this cacophony of children's voices like talking over one another, and you hear sort of above this sort of yelling older voice trying to make them settle down. How do you want to approach this?
Does it look like, with the playground and stuff, that it's purposefully kind of neglected, or that it's just like budget-wise it can't be kept up?
It looks like that they tried their best to make something for the kids, that they didn't know exactly what they were doing. And so it looks like that it was just sort of put together with the best of intent, but just sort of not skillfully made.
Gotcha.
Should we just walk in?
I mean,
Are we going in loud or are we going in quiet?
I think... Chloe, how well do you know Miss or Sister Lavender?
We talked for a brief moment, but it was mostly just the leader of the group that was talking to her. And so I was just sort of in the back trying to play with the kids.
Okay, but she seemed cool?
Yes, she was nice.
Okay.
As you kind of like knock on the door, the yelling and screaming just sort of continues on the inside, and it seems like it goes unnoticed.
All right. Going in loud.
Take it away, Mr. Fencer.
I slowly step forward with the artifact in hand, and I just knock on the door, and you hear this like
What are you casting for that?
thaumaturgy.
Oh, thaumaturgy. Okay. I thought you were casting
Thunderwave.
Absolutely not.
Everyone inside dies. It's the frogs all over again. No!
You see him like taking the artifact in hand and just boom. You hear this woof. From the inside you hear all the like kids' voices just whoosh, quiet down immediately. And then you hear
Gonna gently knock.
You see coming to the door, like this shadow underneath blocks out some of the lights, and you see slowly kind of opening the door this elderly woman holding a child in their arms, like kind of just on their shoulder or on their waist. You see slowly opening the door.
As soon as I see the door start to like creak, I like turn over like, oh my god, crazy. These heat showers bringing thunder. I mean, come on. Hey, how you doing?
He's opening up the door slowly, like with this sort of like worried look on her face. This elderly woman with this like silver hair with slight bits and pieces of like brownish still kind of inhabiting it, and these sort of becoming wrinkles parts of her face, but like still sort of young to some degrees, almost like it was brought on by like dealing with the kids. You see this woman like kind of open the door. Hello.
I'll just kind of put Chloe out a little to show her.
She like it kind of like looks and like immediately kind of opens up the door and like sits down the kid and like hurries it up. Oh my God, Chloe, what happened to you? And you see her like, hi, Sister Lavender. It's been a rough couple of days.
Show the legs.
Yeah. Oh God.
She's stable, but she needs a place to stay.
Bring her in, come on. And you see like the kids all like, as you walk in, all like with just like gaping mouths, just watching as you bring in this woman. And some of them like start kind of like coming up and crowding around Alice. Who's that? What's going on? What happened to the rest of her legs? Why is her skin like that?
Why is the sky blue?
You can't just ask that.
You see Sister laughing. Shoo, come on, all of you, go back to reading time. Go on. And you see her like,
Quiet reading time.
Bring this way. Come on, you can put her on my bed. And you see her kind of like just wading through this, just a mass of kids, and she shuts the door quickly behind her. Whatever you do, please just be nice to our guests, all right? And just leave them alone. We don't want what happened last time, do we? So come on.
You're the only one working here.
Yes, I am. Please watch
What happened last time?
There was a tripping incident that involved a couple of bloody noses, but we don't have to worry about that. Watch your pockets, please. They are ruthless.
Right.
As you kind of begin like wading your way through this like uproarious amount of like 20 or so kids coming through
I
here.
touch one of their toys and cast light on it.
As this happened, you see like a couple of the kids go, ooh, and they all like immediately crowd around and like, what happened to? What's going on? And as you begin moving your way through to this other door across the room, she opens it up, kind of like keeping kids from going into it. Please just set her on the bed in there. No, shoot, come on, this is my room. And she beckons you all into their room, then shutting the door behind her. I'm so sorry for them. They're here just for the afternoon, and then they'll be off back to their parents.
Oh, this is a daycare.
I kind of assumed
I
that
thought
this was an
orphanage.
No. Well, one or two of them do stay afterwards, but they are a lot more quieter than the rest of them. Sorry, I didn't really get to introduce myself. My name's Sister Lavender. I run the Academy for Little Gremlins.
Why the name?
Well, this is more sort of a reform school more than anything. Most parents deem to educate their children themselves at home, but for the ones that have day jobs or that just don't want to deal with their children, they send them to me. And so my job is to sort of educate them and to raise them while their parents are busy doing other things. I just send them back at night whenever they're a lot more worn out and their parents can manage them a little bit better. And so, but more importantly, she kind of like moves over to Chloe and like guides her into the bed as you set her down. And she has this much larger bed than all the other like bunk beds in the previous room, that has like not the best like furnishings, but it's a lot nicer than your accommodations back at the inn. And you see her like kind of like tending to her and like getting her comfy. Oh God, she's burning up. What happened to her? How did this happen?
Goblin's legs gone.
Well, also Dr. Coverfront.
Oh, yeah. Dr.
Operated on her.
Coverfront.
It's probably his fault she has a
I've been
fever.
writing up this form. If you want to sign it, it's a petition to, you'll join in on this litigation on Dr. Coverfront for malpractice.
Oh, okay.
Have you or anyone close to you had any operations by the good doctor?
Chloe?
Okay.
But
If you're
my-
interested, it's here.
My aunt actually the other year
no.
had a problem with her leg, that it was having some issues being sore for her, and she went to him and she died a couple months later, and I don't know if those are connected.
So is it everyone on this island that doesn't notice that the doctor is like horrible at his job?
So, usually, I mean, if it's just like a cold or something like minor, it's not an issue, but we just assume that a majority of the time that whatever major issues people are having is just fatal. So,
All right. I gotta know. Have you ever had a cold before and been treated by him? Or anything like that? Anything minor?
I had a headache once.
Okay, what did he give you to treat this headache? I'm just curious.
I mean, there was some herbal remedies that he gave me that were just a mix of various herbs around the island. I mean, it helped to ease up the pain, but that's about it.
So it was just leaves.
He has pedestrian
Yeah.
medicine knowledge, it seems.
Do you know what he gave at all, or just leaves?
You just took it?
It was just a remedy that I burned like incense in the morning, and so it helped
All right.
somewhat.
So, like I said, he's not a doctor. He has no formal training and has led to many deaths. So, if you would like to join in on this litigation, you don't have to, of course, but there will be a large payout, more than likely.
Oh. Okay. You see her like kind of take the thing.
Ask the daycare owner to join in a class action lawsuit.
I never really thought twice about it, but I guess now that you mention it, perhaps there is some goings-ons with Dr. Coverfront.
His first name's Clarence?
Yes.
His name's Clarence, by the way.
Or was it Eugene?
No, it's Clarence.
Clarence.
Okay.
So that's a thing.
I mean, you assume with Doctor that afterwards would be his last name, and so. that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name's Clarence Coverfront.
He's not a doctor.
He's not
so.
a doctor.
Mm.
He calls himself doctor.
So, Coverfront did this to her.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, no.
No. She had her legs chopped off. You had your legs chopped off by a goblin, right, Chloe?
She nods her head.
So then she summoned an ape or a monkey, one of the two, and then that drug her all the way back to Coverfront, who thought it was a good idea to sew on her legs while they were dead. And he didn't sew the muscles. He just did the outside.
That probably would not.
It did not.
I'll
It was
imagine
very inflamed.
The
So,
reason she's got a fever now is probably because of that, actually.
yeah, she should be okay. She should be on the mend. But I undid all the sutures, and then, I mean, I can't give her legs back, but I can do what I did.
Well, thank you for what you have done. I will do my best to take care of her. I can't exactly send for Dr. Coverfront now. I guess Rain might know one or two things about how to deal with this. But I'll just take care of her to the best of my knowledge. I'll just keep her comfortable more than anything.
You know, Crowware does have a really good medication line, as well as you could probably hire services of a doctor here.
I myself probably could not, but the mayor might be.
Yeah, I meant like as a town, you could come
Yes.
together for it.
I'm sure that if you asked either Sheriff Greybeard or the mayor about that they could possibly put something in for that. But at the moment, all we used to have was Dr. Coverfront and Rain. And Rain, bless his heart, he tries his best, but Rain is not the most competent whenever it comes to medical work.
Rain looks like he's going through a lot.
Yeah. Why is no one on this island, like, especially qualified to do any job?
Well, the issue is this was sort of a quickly put up town. I mean, it's only about 100 to 75 years old at this point, and it was started here just sort of as an expansion of the frontier. Really just trying to cover islands that hadn't been inhabited yet. And from my knowledge of it, I've only been here for 40 years or so, that it was just sort of started more to see if it could be. And so, I mean, we get supplies every couple of months, and that's what's mainly keeping us around, is what we can't grow ourselves, is what we get from the supply runs. And so the mayor probably knows a little bit more about that than I do, but we just try our best at this point.
All right. In that case, Chloe, do you think that the goblin thing is pressing? Like we should do that this minute, or do you think we have time?
I'd prefer if you could at least find the bodies of my friends. But if you're here for the cure, it's there, probably. That's the only place that we have concrete, like, at least somewhat evidence that it might be there. I mean, as much as Dr. Coverfront can be trusted, I guess.
Do you know what the cure is? Is it like a liquid in a vial?
It's some sort It's some sort of artifact. The little information that Randall gave us was that it was an artifact that was discovered a couple of years ago. That eventually it was sent out here to assist the doctors that were here. Apparently, there was another doctor before Dr. Coverfront.
Wow.
And with that, Sister
Dr.
Lavender
Denver.
kind of like, there was, yes, another doctor, but I'm afraid that he disappeared 20 years ago.
Doctor disappear now.
He was a good doctor. I wouldn't make fun of him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Kind of
okay.
have a bad taste in my mouth from Coverfront. I'm sorry. That was very inappropriate.
Coverfront stepped up where he was, but I think it was more of a just to fill in a void more than anything.
And Coverfront didn't like apprentice under this other doctor or anything.
No,
All right.
I mean, alright, I guess, you know.
he just said that he had medical knowledge, and
So what is this old doctor's name?
oh, it's been years now. I think it was Dr. Livewood, I think.
That is a much more trustworthy doctor name than Coverfront,
Coverfront, yeah.
I gotta say.
He was an elf. He was apparently around since the founding of the town. But one year he just disappeared without leaving any evidence behind. I mean, he left all of his supplies, which I think is what Dr. Coverfront's been using, but he didn't take anything with him. He just blinked out of existence.
Did anybody go try to find him?
Yes, for quite a while. We went as far as we could reach out of the town borders into the jungle, but we probably lost more people than we found that doing that. So eventually the sheriff called off the search. And again, it's been 20 years now, probably.
Sorry, was the sheriff then still Sheriff Greybeard?
Yes. He was a dwarf. He's been around for a while.
Oh, okay. I was like, dang, it's a long time. Feels like a human. Okay. Do we have everything we need?
Well, I think we got more than we needed, actually.
Very nice history lesson. Thank you.
Yeah.
It is my job to teach.
Ha! It's funny. Good luck with the kids.
Thank you.
Do you need anything to help with the kids, by the way?
More hands would be nice, but yeah,
I can make
understand.
loud noises, that's all.
I can make
I
like
thought that was the thunder outside.
Oh, it was.
Uh-huh.
I can also make the loud noises now.
Okay. You see her kind of smile at that, like.
Not trying to convincingly lie at all. Just like, oh yeah, no, totally not. Yeah.
so I can like donate like a gold. I don't know about hands.
Money would be appreciated as well. I mean, if you're willing to do charity. But
Yeah. Single gold piece.
she takes this. Thank you. I'll use this to the best of the betterment of the children, and to possibly fix up the house a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will be taking care of Chloe. If you do need anything else, please do not hesitate to ask. I will do the best that I can.
Chloe, real quick. Sorry, just if we do find this cure and somehow signal Randall and get a ship back to the mainland, do you want in on that or?
Yes, if possible.
Right.
Randall, his art, he seems to know things beforehand. Like, whenever apparently our party failed, it was supposed to be 2 months before a new shipment came yet. Here you are 2 weeks later.
Right.
So perhaps he'll know whenever you're getting closer to obtaining it, and he'll be back.
Yeah, like we were saying, I think Randall's got some kind of sensor or some method of spying on us because he knows everything that we do, apparently. Or he knew everything you did.
Had we ever heard of him in the company beforehand?
You had seen him around Crowware. You had seen him before, but you never really encountered him to some degrees. He was always just sort of in the background or dealing with somebody else. So it was never an instance where you were like, "Hey, Randall," and he was like, "Hello," back. It was always just sort of
no water cooler talk.
Yeah,
Randall.
it was always just sort of you would just walk past him.
What's his position? Is he like a manager or something?
You don't know.
He seems like he has authority, though.
He seems like he's pretty higher up, yeah, but he's never flaunted around his authority. He's never been like, "I'm your head in charge and you have to do what I say." He's always just sort of been everybody knows that he's above them, but they don't know how above him.
Do I know who he is?
You've seen him talk with your father before, but that's about it.
How many offshore bank accounts does Crowware own in his name?
That's the question, isn't it? So, but he's suspicious, I'll give you that much, but that's about it.
Alright, well, do we want to get to finding out about these goblins a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, oh, by the way, Chloe, how many goblins would you guess there were?
We took down a couple, but they just overwhelmed us more than anything, and so
Overwhelmed sounds like a lot.
they were. It was more that they were more skilled than we were expecting, than that there were a lot of them. I mean, there were numerous amounts, but they were just a little bit more adept than you would expect goblins to be.
Goblin
They're all level 3
combat
fighters.
squad. Yeah,
Yeah.
something.
All right. So, as you wrap up your dealings with Chloe and Sister Lavender, what is it that you are going to do next?
Do we want to go talk to Sheriff Greybeard before we go, or do we want to go first and then talk to Sheriff Greybeard?
Well, if these goblins are a problem to the town, maybe we could convince him and whatever deputies he has that they should help us.
True.
That could be smart.
Or at least if something really unexpected happens and none of us make it out, then they know.
True.
Just in case. Because if I'm a raiding party of goblins and 2 groups of people have come from a town to harass us and try and kill us, and we regroup,
It might
it might be a problem for the town next,
Yeah, also, this may not end well, but we could try talking to the goblins.
No, I'd love to try talking to
Yeah.
goblins.
Yeah, you seemed really distraught last time. We just kind of barged into the frog's home.
Look, I was convinced we could make friends, but then people started slinging around, "Oh, big ribbit," and all this stuff about eating people, and goblins are a little bit more, I would say, culturally structured than frogs are. So
Just barely. A little bit.
I would say that the chances of us actually being able to have a discourse with him is probably a little bit higher.
And Chloe kind of looks over to you, is like, "We didn't try that. It could work. We just went in guns blazing."
And they don't know that we were from the same group that came and attacked them before.
You're not wearing brand colors, are you? No? Okay.
she's
And
not from
none of your
I'm pretty sure you're the only one who is wearing
none of your
it.
coworkers did either.
Yeah, she works.
Gotta represent.
The previous group was from Crowware as well.
I thought you said that she straight up didn't work for them, that she was on the ship that was conscripted for it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, no, the ship worked for Crowware though.
Okay.
She was a part of a crew that just sort of became part of Crowware. So she technically did work for Crowware, but it's just that
She was like a contractor.
she
wasn't
just
like
sort
a
of
proper
became
employee.
working for Crowware. She doesn't directly work for Crowware. So technically, yes, she works for Crowware. All right. So, double checking our time here. All right. So we'll pick that up next time. So thank you everyone for tuning in. My name has been Reese. This has been my ragtag group of players, and we will see you next time. Goodbye!